I'm joined here today by Tan Liu, set to fight Kevin Aguilar at LFA 40 later this month for the featherweight title. Tan, how are you today?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And so one of the places people remember you from, of course, is The Ultimate Fighter. How do you look back at your time on the show?
It was a good experience, man. Obviously, fighting for a cause is something worth doing. 10 times out of 10. Learned from some great coaches. Made some great relationships and friendships from the show. Show didn't turn out the way I wanted to, but I've learned a great deal from the experience. And my second outing when I went to Dana White's Contender Series, that ended up great, and the fights after ended up great. So it's been a good ride so far, and I can't complain.
And so we do know the show, it's tough for people mentally. How are you able to deal with it all?
Really not that bad, to be honest with you. I don't know. You see a lot of highlights on the show, and guys that have a hard time being away from home and not with their coaches and things like that. And obviously that stuff's tough because I'm close to my family, close to my coaches and my team. But you keep the eye on the prize, and you do what you got to do to make the dream happen. So you continue to work hard, keep your strong mentality, and that's just the way to make it work.
And so I do remember after the show, it was a few years ago, but I remember on Twitter everyone was pitching for you to get a contract and everything, and it seemed like maybe you would, but then you didn't. Was there any talk of you potentially getting one, or what happened there?
Yeah. There were some last-minute fill-in spots available. Things didn't work out as far as timing goes, but I know I'm right there. This fight is big, and the last few fights for me have been big, and I'm excited to be able to go out there and show what I have, show what we can do, show that we're, definitely some of the best in the world. So I'm ready to show that and take my spot in the UFC.
And so you did mention you competed on the Contender Series that was just this past summer. How was it competing on the show?
It was nice. We got back in Ultimate Fighter gym, so I was there for 7 weeks, so that wasn't too much of a change. As far as fight prep and being in the Ultimate Fighter gym before the fight, getting ready, stuff like that, it was great, man. Felt like home again, and great to see the producer team and all that. But the experience was very similar. High-profile guys, high-profile fights, great competitors. Dana White, Sean Shelby, Mick Maynard sitting on the side. Same deal, but it was great to feel that again.
And so with this fight, you did get a big knockout. I know everybody was talking about it on Twitter, and it seemed like you were finally going to get a contract. What happened in this case? Why didn't you get one this time around?
Not sure. I know they were looking to take one person from each week of the show as far as signing a contract. They shined Sugar Sean O'Malley on that one. Young kid, exciting, talks a lot of shit. 22, so definitely somebody they want to get behind marketing-wise, and I understand that, no worries here. But I'm excited to get my shot. I'll just continue to go out there, keep knocking guys out, put them down as long as they put them in front of me, and until they can't not call me.
And so you are on a big winning streak, I believe, 8 fights if we're not counting the Ultimate Fighter and everything. How close do you think you are to the UFC? I mean, you're heading into a title fight as well. Do you think you're close?
Yeah, we're right there, man. Kevin got the call after his last fight to go to the UFC. He got the call up. He couldn't take advantage because his hand was broken. So I'm just here to step in and take that spot for him. We're both fighting for the dream. We're both fighting for that title. We're both fighting for that spot and that call. And we'll see who comes out on top.
And so you are coming off a win. I believe that was an interim title fight as well. What do you think went right for you in that fight?
I'm sorry, one more time?
What do you think went right for you in the fight?
Playing out. Strategy playing out. Game plan playing out. Using our strengths, of course. Exploiting his weaknesses. Being able to take my shots from the outside, and when they get a little frustrated, when they try to close the gap, that's when the collision happens. Same thing played out last fight, the fight before. So we're definitely playing a smart game, trying not to get too beat up, doing as much damage, putting on as much fireworks as possible early on in the show, and then causing that knockout to happen.
And so you are heading into a fight with Kevin. What are your thoughts on him heading into this fight?
I'm excited to face Kevin. He's a great competitor. He's put out a lot of dudes, a lot of high-level competitors. So he's the kind of guy that gets me up in the morning for fight camp and gets me training, gets me in the gym early, gets me back in the gym after a hard session, things like that. So I'm really excited to face him. He's done really well for himself in his career. I think he's like 13-1 with 10 or so finishes, 12 or so finishes, something like that. So high-level guy, tough dude. He's going to come forward and try to implement his game plan, and we're just going to stop him. So.
And how do you think you match up with him?
I think the matchup's great, man. He's going to plant his feet and fire some heavy shots. He's going to move around the cage, try to stay in his range, mix in his kicks and punches. I think we're going to do the same thing, just better. I'm excited to see how it plays out. But I think the damage is going to come early for him. I think I'm going to be too fast, too strong, and we'll see how that plays out.
And so we do know this is a title fight. Obviously, last time was a title fight as well. Maybe the stakes weren't quite as high. Do you feel there's more pressure on you in this fight?
I said in a recent interview that my last 5-6 fights or something like that have been all pretty high profile. You can't get much more pressure than Dana White sitting on the outside, Sean Shelby sitting on the outside, Mick Maynard sitting on the outside. So business as usual for me. No matter if I'm fighting in front of nobody or a million people, we're going to approach the fight the same way. Keep our poise, keep our calm, and put on the same fireworks show that we can.
And what point are you at in your training camp? Obviously, we know the fight's about a week away. Are you finished with everything?
Yeah, we're winding down, We're just making sure that game plan and strategies are on point, making sure that we're crisping, making sure our techniques are crisp and flowing through our strategies and flowing through our movements and making sure everything's on point, making sure we have no hiccups, and training hard, training smart, making sure we're ready for next week.
And so how's the weight cut coming along? Obviously, we know that that's going to be soon.
Yeah, weight cut's fine, man. 45 is definitely a great place for me. I used to fight at 55, tried out 45, and I was like, man, I thought the cut was going to be harder. So the cut's not very difficult at all. Everything's been on schedule.
And so what's your weight cutting strategy? Are you more of a water loading guy, or what do you typically go with?
Yeah, water loading, and then we'll cut the last day a few pounds. Like maybe last day we're going 3 or 4 pounds. It's nothing too strenuous at all.
All right, so I just have one more for you. How do you see this fight playing out come next week?
Really, it's up to Aguilar, depending on how much pressure he puts forward. If he steps into some heavy shots, it's going to end early. But Kevin's a smart guy. I think he's going to turn into a grappler quick. I don't think he's going to want to stand with me for too long. But I see this one ending. I don't think it's going to go all 5, but we're ready to go all 5.